Dixon, and this is my final interview for catering and event management. I am here with the lovely Mr. Kerry Goodman. He thought it not robbery to come and be my special guest for this interview. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for asking. So, event planning. How did you begin this journey?
So actually, it's ironic that you're in a event planning class at Virginia State University. I actually started at Virginia State,
Hail State.
and I was a student. I worked in the Office of Admissions during my undergrad years, and they always needed a student on different committees for different events. For instance, like the Kings and Queens Ball, or any homecoming event. And so I was the token student, and so that's really how I got my start doing event planning.
So it was never your major?
It was never my major. It was never my major. I really fell into it, and then when I fell into it, I fell in love with it.
Wow. So how long have you been doing event planning?
Woo! I guess now full time. I'll say full time. I've been doing event planning full time now. 14 years.
Wow, that's a very long time, and it definitely keeps him busy. When we were trying to do this interview, our time schedules definitely were conflicted, but it's kind of interesting that he thought it was nice enough or kind enough to have me come to his event that he is event planning tonight. So we're actually on the scene of one of his events, and once we finish, he's gonna go and finish doing his job. So I absolutely want to thank
anything for you.
Oh, thank
anything
you
for
so
you.
much. So in this event, like I said, the time is, you are under a lot of time crunches and everything. What is your greatest challenge in event planning?
My greatest challenge in event planning, I try not to procrastinate. I am definitely a visionary, and I see the big vision, and so my challenge tends to be kind of pulling that all together. But I have great people that assist me on different events. Different scale events. So if I'm doing a wedding, I have a wedding team. If I'm doing a concert, I have a concert team. Different things like this. So I try my best to delegate as much as possible. That becomes a challenge because I'm so hands-on.
Okay.
Because I definitely see the vision. I definitely can really see it before I even think it. If you can think that, that's kind of crazy. I can really see it before I can even think it, and so that's probably my biggest challenge is probably being too hands-on because you want what you want, right, how you want it, and you want to make sure that it's done the right way. And so but I am able to trust so many people when I do different events.
So how long did it take you to get to having these different teams? I can imagine you didn't start off like that.
No. So when I first started, I started with big budgets.
Okay.
So when I started full time, I started with big budgets, and so I was able to hire different people. And as I've hired people have stayed on. I typically like to, if somebody has a specific specialty, like I had one young lady that did balloons, and that's all she did. And so when I had an event, she was my balloon girl. I have somebody that when I do photo booths, I have actually 3 different people that I kind of outsource for photo booths.
Okay.
So I can do, when I say I do everything, I can do everything, and I can typically delegate who I get to do it.
This is real good. You right in line with we learning in school. Dr. Bradford, you hear this? He all in chapter 7 and chapter 8 with the shallow market, the deep markets, all of that. So that's really interesting. I'm glad that what we're learning in school is becoming a reality.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking from a professional standpoint.
Yeah. So I mean, it's crazy because I never thought that I would be doing event planning full time. Never thought it.
Wow.
And now I'm at a point where I'm literally traveling the country doing events like literally all over. So it's almost not one area in the country that I've not touched in terms of my events. And I actually pray at the beginning of each year, and that's, people think that's a little crazy and uncouth, but I literally pray at the beginning of each year, and I set goals for different things that I want to do. And even this space that I'm in today is a space that I say, hey, I want to do an event there, and hey, we're at the end of the year, so I finally got an opportunity to do it here.
You met your goal before the year was out. That is so good.
Yep.
So with that being said, that you never thought you would be full time, do you think you'd be able to retire from this industry?
I think I will probably maybe not retire from event planning because I think I just have that party planning, event planning just thing in me. But I definitely think at some point I will give it up or at least pass it down to somebody else.
Okay.
There are a lot of people that I've come in contact with that are interested in doing events. They don't know the capacity. They don't know to what level that it takes. The blood, sweat, and tears, literally blood, literally sweat, literally tears. Let's say today I've seen blood, I've seen sweat, and I've seen tears just on today.
That's funny that you mentioned that because my last question literally was to you, what was going to be, do you think event planning has been dumbed down to something easier than what it is?
I think a lot of people think that event planning is very attainable. It's so ironic you asked that. Today I was on Instagram and I saw somebody that literally I would never have thought that they were an event planner. In their bio on Instagram it said event planner, but a lot of people have a misconception of what event planning really is. A lot of people think that if you do club promoting, that's event planning, or if you do it's so many misconceptions of event planning. And so I feel like it has been dumbed down to a certain level, but I definitely think that those people that are true to it are really, really in it to do great things with it. Not just, oh, I can do a baby shower or I got married and I get this a whole lot. I got married and so next year I'm a wedding planner. And really it does not work like that at all. Yes, you may have had excess of stuff from your wedding, but that does not equate to and a lot of people think that because they have stuff that now they're event planning, and that's so much more. I literally have been hired to do consultations, just to go in, tell them what to do, tell them how to do it, tell them vendors to reach out to, and gotten paid, and that was all I had to do. Yeah, and a lot of people don't see that as event planning, but I planned your whole event. I told you everything to do, and I'm very, very keen about putting together framework for people so that you don't have to always call me. Hey, I want you to call me, but you don't always have to call me. I try to set you up so that from now on you'll be able to do this. I can do event planning with my eyes closed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So being that you can do it with your eyes closed, it sounds like it's very time consuming. Most jobs are 9 to 5, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. How many hours a week do you typically spend doing this?
I don't know.
But
it's way more. I was working a full-time job, and then when I came home from work, I was working another full-time job. So I was at least clocking sometimes 120 hours on an event. Because it goes from the time you're sitting up in front of a computer, the time that you're on the phone with a vendor, the time that you're out in the store, even out in the store just viewing different items that you may need for an event. Yeah, I mean, I clock all of those.
Wow. So being that you have to love this to be in order to do it.
Yep.
So what is your greatest reward as being an event planner?
My greatest reward is the people that I've met. I love people. And a lot of people don't know that about me. I'm definitely a people person. I'm very recluse at times, but I love people. I love connecting with people. For the sake of, I'm able to connect dots for so many people. So if you needed fitness or you needed something, I'm able to connect you with this. And that comes from doing events for different people. I've done so many different levels of event, not just, some people have a one-track, thought when they think of event planning.
They just want the big stuff and not the low budget stuff.
Exactly.
Shadow market.
Exactly.
So you like to do it all. So being with that said, this is literally the last question. I don't want to take too much of your time before your event. What has been your favorite event out of all these 14 years that you've done that stands out the most?
My favorite event that I have done. Ooh, that's a hard one. I recall doing the African American Church inaugural ball. I did that back in second inauguration for President Obama, so that was 2012.
2012. Wow.
So I did that, and so that was probably my favorite event.
That was your favorite
Yep.
event. I didn't even know you did that. That's
Yep.
actually a good thing to have on your resume.
Yep.
Well, I just want to take the time to say thank you so much for being part of my final project. And one last time, we want to thank Mr. Kerry Goodman for stopping by. This is Mr. Kerry Goodman of Creative Events, Creative Designs and Events. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking out the time.
Thank you.